City Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Stretch Flow specializes in neuromyofascial stretch therapy and was developed by Kyle Collier during his work with thousands of patients over the past 10 years. Our techniques are specifically designed to help your body recover faster, improve overall function and mobility, as well as bring your body into balance. After our sessions, clients have experienced pain reduction, elimination and reduced inflammation in the joints, reduction in stress, improved athletic performance, better sleep, and more energy overall. You can try out Stretch Therapy for just $30. That's 50% off our intro session using the code VARSITY. Call us today to schedule your appointment at 516-336-9627. Are you tired of constantly having to adjust your lacrosse stick during the game? Let the experts at String It Up in Huntington take care of it for you. At String It Up, we use the highest quality materials and techniques to ensure your stick is game ready every time. Visit them today at 41 Stewart Avenue in Huntington Village or on the web www.stringitup.com.
We welcome you back to Laval Stadium here on the campus of Stony Brook University, where we have a new Class A champion, the Dalers of Farmingdale, 5-3 victors over Northport. An incredible game here at Laval Stadium. Dylan Butler here alongside Des Megna. Of course, our pre- and post-game shows here of the Long Island Boys Lacrosse Championships presented by Stretch Flow. Des, an incredible game that we just saw, a defensive battle, certainly the goaltending for both teams outstanding, and the Dalers, by the end of the 48 minutes, deserve champions.
They did, absolutely. Defensive battle, how could you not say that in a 5-3 game? The best players on the field today, I thought, were on the defensive side of the ball. Andrew Miller for Northport did everything that he could today, again, on both sides of the ball. But I felt like a lot of credit needs to go to the coaching staff of Farmingdale. I felt like they did a nice job. They pulled Andrew Miller into places where maybe he's not used to covering, and had him tracking guys. I know they had Dylan Meta a couple times, on just dead sprints that kind of maybe took a little out of him towards the end of the game. And you can't say enough about the kid Ippoliti. I hope I'm not butchering his name.
No, you got it.
Yeah,
Michael Ippoliti. He was
unbelievable. The Farmingdale defense did a great job of forcing them into not taking high percentage shots, and then he just ate everything up. He did what you want a goalie to do, is make the saves you're supposed to save. He was phenomenal.
All right, Des, let's take a look at some of the highlights here from this one, the Class A Championship, as it's the Dalers and Northport. The Tigers looking for a third straight, and the Dalers looking for their first one in more than a decade. First quarter, Caden Lennon fights his way through from the assist from O'Keefe. It's 1-0 Farmingdale. But then you mentioned him before. I like to call him Sergeant Andrew Miller because he's going to Army and he's scoring goals like this. From Quinn Reynolds, we are tied at 1. Now just 10 seconds later, this is off the ensuing face-off. How about another pole goal? Giancarlo Valenti gets involved and the Tigers take a 2-1 lead. But the Dalers coming right back. How about Sally Boy? Sally Pasilico. 2-2. 9:44 left, third quarter. And then the big one. Brendan O'Keefe. He had an assist earlier. Beats his man. Fires it inside the far post. 3-2 Dalers. And all that's left is for Mike Hungerford to get the Gatorade bath as Farmingdale wins the Class A championship on Long Island. Incredible moments here from the Dalers, and in fact, Des, we've got a few of them down on the field. John Perez is with the victorious Dalers now.
Good luck, boys.
Back down here on the field with a very happy Farmingdale crew, the Long Island champions, Mike Hungerford, Mike Ippoliti, Brendan O'Keefe. Mike, you haven't stopped smiling for the last 5 minutes. Tell me what emotions you're feeling right now.
There's no substitute for winning, you know. People would say that there's something better than that. It hasn't really won, you know. But more than that, it's about being with these kind of guys. When you have the kind of guys we have, that's just all I really wanted to do is get to go to practice on Monday, you know. Have a couple more days, you know. It's cool.
What adjustments did you guys make in the second half allowed you guys to get over the hump?
We really didn't make any. We just kind of, I mean, it sounds really honest, but we didn't make any adjustments. We just kind of said we didn't play our best lacrosse. We can play better. I don't know if we played our best lacrosse in the second half. We played better. Northport had a lot to do with that. But I think that we just, you know, we relaxed a little bit and found a way to make a play. And once we got even, it was kind of like just let it go a little bit, you know, we found the way. So
not sure.
No major adjustment.
Not sure if it's recency bias or what. Would you say this is the best goalie performance you've seen as a coach?
One of the very best in high school, yes. I would say that. I would say the very, very, very best, yes. No doubt.
And last one before we get to your players too. For you personally, and what Farmingdale means to you, to finally have this Long Island championship as the head coach, what does it mean?
I'm just a cog in a big wheel. You know, we've been playing lacrosse since 1966. We've been really good for a long time. Had like a little dips and maybe not as good at certain points. It's not about me. It's about the program. It's about having a great program. They're very successful. The people know, like Coach Sarasi and I talked before the game, it's a Farmingdale Northport game. Two programs that are always really good. And more importantly, it's about these guys. It's their turn. It's their turn. I've been lucky enough to do this a long time. I've been lucky to be around great guys like these guys, but it's really about them.
And with that said, we'll start with the goalie first. Mike, at times it looks like you're standing on your head too. Take me through what your mindset was coming into this game and what allowed you to be successful.
One game at a time. We had a great game plan. Our coaches put together a great game plan and we stuck to it. A lot of preparation went into this. And we kind of stuck to the game plan. Like Coach Hungerford said, nothing really changed. My defense played incredible. They did a great job of making me see the shots I wanted to see. But the offense, when it was a stalemate, they came up huge when we needed them to, and our Fogo did a great job getting ground balls in between the lines. I give all the credit to the offense and my defense. They played incredible.
And it seems like the defense has really been gelling over the last couple of weeks, too. As a keeper and being with them day to day, how much have you seen them grow and allowed you guys to have the success that you've had?
It's tremendous. We have a lot of senior and junior leadership on the team. It's great getting to be a goalie and knowing you have like such great defensemen out there with you. It really makes my job easier. And our defensive coach and all the long poles, they do such a great job for me, and I love them to death. They're awesome.
All right, let's get Brendan in here. Brendan, you scored the game winner. I'm sure a goal you'll never forget. Take me through it.
Yeah, that guy had my number a little bit in the first half, so I stuck to my moves and played a little confident. Bergie drawed a slide coming down the other end and kicked it through X, and I just saw a lot of green, so I took the middle. And
when Mike continues to make those saves that he's doing, how much does it inspire the offense to say, hey, we might need one or two, but it'll get you over the hump?
Yeah, you know, he stood on his head today. I can't thank him enough, but when he makes those saves, we know we just got to pay him back and get a couple in. The first half was a little rough on offense, but he kept us in the game, and then in the second half we kind of got going and ended up well.
All right, guys, I know you're 2 steps away, but before we get there, we got a very special gift from the folks at String It Up as well in Huntington for our 2 players of the game. Sponsored by String It Up as well. Go see them in Huntington. Not that far away from here, but Mike Hungerford, Mike Ippoliti, Brendan O'Keefe. Guys, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Let's send it back upstairs.
Thanks, John, and congratulations to the Dalers. First Long Island Championship, Des, since 2011. It is their 4th in their rich program's history. Let's take a look at some of the stats. Listen, for 5 goals and 3 goals, I mean, there were a lot of shots, certainly plenty of shots. A lot of them were off the mark for both teams, but also both goalies were phenomenal.
Yeah, and you know, I think an important stat there is I think the Farmingdale face-off kid, I came up with some big face-offs down in the 4th quarter. Yeah, down in the stretch, it looked like Northport kind of was going to have the advantage there, but he came up with a couple of big ones at the end. And I'm so glad that we were able to show that highlight, that Ippoliti, that save, that kick save that he made was game changer. That was unbelievable.
And you can see, too, man up, neither team able to capitalize, but what a game, what a win for the Dalers. 5-3 victors over Northport. There is one game remaining.
It's a big one.
And a lot is on West Islip right now because Suffolk 0-3 at this point. You're a Suffolk coach, though.
It's been a tough day. It's been a tough day for Suffolk. But every game has been awesome.
Yeah.
They've been great games. Even Matatuck hung in there and scrapped and fought till the very end. I was happy. I was happy with how Matatuck played as well. But I think people are sleeping on West Islip a little bit because they don't have the flash. I think the kid C.J. Schwartz is going to be the key to the game for them. I think he's going to dominate the X, get West Islip a lot of possessions. And I know West Islip doesn't have that superstar, but they do have a deep roster of all solid kids. So I think they're going to surprise today. But Garden City has Stephen Fennell. They have tons of pieces and Division I talent littered all over their roster. They have a phenomenal coach and coaching staff. So it's going to be a battle, but I'm riding a lot on West Islip today for Suffolk.
That's Des Begna, Dylan Butler. I'll take a quick break, and we'll start breaking down the final game of the Long Island Boys Lacrosse Championships. All of our pre- and post-game coverage right here in the Varsity Media Sports Network, part of our MEGACAST across all of our platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as well. Back after this.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Stretch Flow specializes in neuromyofascial stretch therapy and was developed by Kyle Collier during his work with thousands of patients over the past 10 years. Our techniques are specifically designed to help your body recover faster, improve overall function and mobility, as well as bring your body into balance. After our sessions, clients have experienced pain reduction, elimination and reduced inflammation in the joints, reduction in stress, improved athletic performance, better sleep, and more energy overall. You can try out Stretch Therapy for just $30. That's 50% off our intro session using the code VARSITY. Call us today to schedule your appointment at 516-336-9627. Looking for a competitive edge on the field? Look no further than String It Up. Our expert stringers have years of experience in crafting the perfect pocket for your playing style. Whether you prefer a high pocket or a low pocket, we've got you covered. Get the edge you need to dominate the competition. Visit String It Up at 41 Stewart Avenue in Huntington Village or on the web at www.stringitup.com.
Welcome back to Laval Stadium here at Stony Brook University. It is the final game of the day. We started in the early morning, and now we are advancing into the early evening. Dylan Butler, John Perez with you. It is the Class B championship. And honestly, when you think of Long Island lacrosse history and you think of teams that are perennial state champions, these are right there, the two of them. It's Garden City, it's West Islip. Granted, they might have been in different classifications. West Islip winning all those A championships under Scotty Craig back in the day. But Steve Fennell here at Garden City has just continued that incredible history of Garden City lacrosse. So these are two of the Blue Bloods on Long Island.
And if I'm right, 28 county championships, too, for the Trojans. They've been pretty much an automatic in Class B and what they've been able to run roughshod, too, Dylan. You would think over the course of a high school career, you'd have some ebbs and flows every 4 years. That's not the case with Garden City. It's like a factory over there in Nassau County and what they've been able to do. Fennell, obviously, at the forefront. We'll talk about his son and the rest of the crew as well. But the Trojans just continue to run roughshod. One thing that was interesting about Garden City this year, though, a lot of prognosticators said this team's very beatable. And this might not be this vintage Garden City team. They took that as bulletin board material, and now they're back in the LIC final again, looking for another championship.
And a lot of that reason is because you don't have a Cascadon at the Face-off X anymore, right? So that would seemingly make them more vulnerable, but that just means you don't know Garden City. because you still have dudes on attack and you still have dudes on defense, and you've got dudes who are defensive middies. So there's those parts all over the field for Garden City this year, just like it is every single year. Right, Stevie Fennell is going to do. Cole Weber leading the line defensively. His future head coach, Lars Tiffany, is here for Virginia. So that just kind of speaks to that ability. Now, it's a different case for West Islip. They don't have that guy necessarily, right? Like that star attackman like maybe they've had in the past. And as you see there, some of the previous champions, look at all those Garden Cities, right? 4 out of the last 5 LICs have whether it's Eastport South Manor, whether it's Comstock, whether it's Harborfields, it doesn't seem to matter. Sayville or Miller Place in the past, it is all about GC. Really, the only time that they kind of slipped up was that year against Shore and Wading River, 2016. I think that might have been Xavier Arline's year, or maybe Chris Gray. But either case, listen, this has all been about the Trojans of Garden City. But West Islip is a team that, while they don't have that star guy on either side, they've got the face-off guy in CJ Schwartz. So I think that's part of the chess match, I think, this afternoon.
Yeah, and when you've got a guy like Schwartz, too, and knowing that it's an almost automatic possession, that can certainly help your cause in terms of slowing down the game, getting the shots that you want. And if the defense holds up, West Islip could score 7 or 8 goals. That might be enough. And considering what we just saw in the last game, too, with Farmingdale as well as Northport, 5 goals won the game. So you never know when it comes to the Long Island Championship. Anything's on the table. And West Islip, a team that as a whole, better than, the sum of their parts, whatever that whole saying is, that is the definition of what they are. They've been fantastic as a group this year, and no reason to believe that they can't knock off the Trojans today.
I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game between these two. Let's take a look at the Nassau bracket and sort of how Garden City maneuvered their way here. It wasn't as easy, right, as maybe it has been in the past.
No, not at all. Knocked off Long Beach, a very good Long Beach team, and then a lot of people had Southside, including myself, going all the way and knocking off Garden City in Nassau County this year. The Trojans said, absolutely not, so there's no way. Calhoun knocking off the Southside Cyclones, and then Garden City taking on Calhoun at Hofstra. We'll take a look at those highlights. First quarter, Jaden Finkelstein gives Calhoun the 1-0 lead. GC looking for the equalizer. Andrew Ottaminelli off the rebound ties it up. He's got 6 goals in the postseason. Second quarter now, Finkelstein weaving his way in, scores his second goal of the game. Colts go up 4-2. Upset brewing, not so fast. Carson Krause gives the Trojans a 7-6 lead. That would be the final as Garden City captures its 28th Nassau County title.
Yeah, that number you just mentioned is ridiculous, right? You go, whether it's early days in the 80s and as the A's, the B's, or the C's, it doesn't seem to matter what the alphabet is. It's Garden City winning a championship, and that was the case again this year. Their 3rd straight B championship. Such an incredibly impressive accomplishment by that program.
A great accomplishment. We saw them in the beginning of this year, too. A good win over Syosset on the road. It was a very good Woodstick Classic, although they didn't come out on the victory side. You just saw Manhasset earlier in the day winning their championship, and, of course, one of the top teams in the nation as well. Garden City's been battle-tested. They'll be battle-tested again today, but it's been a banner year and the same old song and dance for Garden City. They're winners.
You make a great point. You look back early season, they were like around 500. Yep. They had lost both of their games. They went to Texas. They lost those games. They lost the Woodstick, as you mentioned, but they've reeled off now 8 wins in a row. And you feel like it's kind of one of those programs like, yeah, we know what we're doing.
Right.
It's the time to start winning games, and that's what Garden City has done. We take a look at the bracket for West Islip and how the Lions got here, 13-5 on the season. And you see there, they also had to run a little bit of – listen, you play Comstock at Comstock. That's never an easy thing to do. But they beat Comstock, right? That's that perennial team that's seemingly always in this game. So that was a big win for them. And that matches them up in the directional game of Islip. It is east. It is west. It was here at Stony Brook. Let's take a look at some of those highlights. We start things off with Evan Aponte finding an opening. And with that time and space, 10 yards out, he's not missing. Charlie Heffernan, though, would not be denied. Powers through the defense. We are tied at 1. Matt Baldino in transition, behind the back. East Islip takes a 4-3 lead, but Quinn Riley gets his hands free, stings it sidearmed, and then Riley puts this one away. Finishes it with 3, and West Islip celebrates a first county title since 2012. Remarkable to think, too, they've got 9 Class A championships in Suffolk County. They've got 8 Class A championships in Long Island, and they've got 5 Class A titles in New York State history. But this is their first, go through here in the Bees. But it's been a few years coming, just like we saw with the Dalers. It's been a little bit of a while, but it's one of those programs that is so rich in history. The youth programs are there. So in that sense, it's no surprise to see Tom Corcoran have his Lions here.
No, not at all. And I think what we take for granted on Long Island is when you look at a Garden City and you look at Cold Spring Harbor, you just think, okay, it's very easy to reel off a dynasty. Most programs are like West Islip, where you're growing from the ground up in the grassroots level, and it takes a long time to grow this talent and continue to have the success. It's very hard to win. It's even harder to have that continuity. But that's something that West Islip feels, Dylan, that they're starting to have starting here in 2023, excuse me.
That's all right. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have our players to watch. We'll look at the face-off and the goaltending matchups, all of that coming up as part of our MEGACAST across all of our platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, on YouTube.com as well. It is a Long Island Lacrosse pre- and post-game shows, all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media @Varsity Media.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
I think there's a lot of high-quality coaches that are involved with this whole entire program that bring a lot of experience and knowledge.
We evaluate them where they are athletically and also lacrosse IQ. And from there, we were able to develop them as best we can to the highest level they can get to.
Like all the competition's just greater over here.
All the teammates, we get along very well. We play really hard together.
Hey! Oh, good look, James! Ah! Oh, Liam, switch to the win. Oh, good luck! Yes, sir! We'll wait for that, Charlie. We'll wait.
Stretch Flow specializes in neuromyofascial stretch therapy and was developed by Kyle Collier during his work with thousands of patients over the past 10 years. Our techniques are specifically designed to help your body recover faster, improve overall function and mobility, as well as bring your body into balance. After our sessions, clients have experienced pain reduction, elimination and reduced inflammation in the joints, reduction in stress, improved athletic performance, better sleep, and more energy overall. You can try out Stretch Therapy for just $30. That's 50% off our intro session using the code VARSITY. Call us today to schedule your appointment at 516-336-9627.
We welcome you back to Laval Stadium here at Stony Brook University. It is the Varsity Media Sports Network's MEGACAST, where we are across all of our platforms here on social media. It's Twitter, Facebook, it's Instagram, and of course it's on YouTube as well. We thank you for joining us, Dylan Butler, John Perez, and we welcome in now the third member of our team here, previewing this Class B championship. It's Jared Veluzzi looking at the goaltending matchup brought to you by the Breakout Goaltending Academy.
Thanks, guys. And Garden City and West Islip feature some of the best netminders on Long Island. We'll start with the Trojans, as Dennis Fargione had an enormous performance against Calhoun. He was named the Nassau County Final MVP, as Fargione came up clutch when his team needed him. It was a tie ball game at 6, and Fargione had an unbelievable save on the doorstep. He really was key for Garden City in their Nassau County playoff run, and he'll have to perform well today against a strong West Islip team. And on the Lions side of things, Cameron Dorfman has really stepped up late. And only 47% save percentage in the regular season.
Holding the slide.
Dorfman has been a brick wall. 65% against East Islip and Comswag. We know how talented those teams are out in Suffolk County. Dorfman is really playing the best lacrosse of his career, and he's going to need to get off to a strong start against a Garden City team that is loaded and not afraid to shoot from the outside. It should be a fun one. Back up to you guys.
Thanks so much, Jared. And a lot of those highlights that we saw there of Dorfman, that was from our regular season game against Bayport Blue Point, a team that's loaded offensively as well. And you can see how talented he is. And I think this stage will not be too big for either of those guys.
No, not at all. Dorfman's been fantastic, like Jared alluded to. He's been a brick wall and stopped everything. Forgione, Garden City was interesting because it was between Forgione and Patrick Blum. They've really got an embarrassment of riches between the pipes for Steve Fennell's crew.
2 Division I goalies.
Exactly, as well. So it's going to be a fun goaltending matchup regardless of who's out on the field.
Fun matchup overall, right?
Yep.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape here between these two teams, and you can see the records a little bit flipped there, right? Where Garden City 15-4, which again is remarkable because at one point they were like 4-4. It seemed like 8 straight wins. West Islip 13-5. Goals for, a little bit of an advantage there for Garden City, as is the goals against. And look at those Long Island titles: 18 for Garden City, 8 for West Islip. And a 10-year difference between their last appearances.
Yeah, it should be a good one. And like we mentioned, Garden City, they've just been the class of Long Island, regardless of what class that they've actually been in. But West Islip, they feel that they've got something brewing. They've been fantastic this year, and it's all coming to a headway now against the Trojans.
Goaltending matchup, maybe that's a toss-up, but for sure the face-off matchup goes edge West Islip. Why? Well, Jared will explain here in our breakdown of our goalies as part of the Face-Off Academy.
Thanks, guys. And yeah, it should be a good one. West Islip, of course, is the favorite in that position, but RJ Vitruba of Garden City is not going to make it easy. We heard that name a lot in the fall. Of course, he was a star football player for Garden City, leading them to an LIC on the gridiron. But here on the lacrosse field, at 67% on the face-off X, Vitruba really gets gritty when it comes to those ground balls and getting possession for his team. He is not going to make it easy on CJ Schwartz. And for the Lions, they're lucky to have a guy like Schwartz. He absolutely dominated in their Suffolk County playoff run. He went 83% against Comswag and East Islip, absolutely controlling those games, and he was able to help the Lions pull away. And it's been a pretty common theme for West Islip. When Schwartz plays really well, they have a lot of success. So it's going to be fun to see these two go at it, and it should overall be a great game. Back up to you guys.
Jared, thanks so much, and we've appreciated your insight as well in these matchups, certainly. And we've done everything breaking this game down except our players to watch.
Of course.
Not yet.
Nope.
We'll do that when we return, right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
That's what we call a tease.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Today's LIC pre- and post-game shows are brought to you in part by Legacy Lacrosse. Legacy Lacrosse offers programs for boys and girls of all ages. Get in front of some of the best lacrosse programs in the nation with current head coaches from local and national schools set to be in attendance at those tryouts. Registration is now open for the July tryouts, so sign up today.
There you see some of the Trojans getting ready. Seems like they do every year for the Long Island Lacrosse Boys Championship here as part of our pre- and post-game coverage of all of the Long Island Boys Lacrosse Championships. Dylan Butler, John Perez. We already heard from Jared Veluzzi as well. And as we teased before the break, we'll take a look at some of our players to watch. First, for the Trojans from Garden City.
Garden City, led by Stevie Fennell, the future Duke Blue Devil. He's been fantastic this year. 46 points, 33 goals, 13 assists. A big part of the reason why the Trojans are where they are. And, of course, without Fennell, you've got Jack Archer as well. A senior headed to Lehigh, 60 points, does a little bit of everything, 30 goals, 30 assists. He's got a wicked shot, could sting it, but a very good facilitator as well. A very good 1-2 punch for the Trojans.
And that's exactly it with those two guys. I feel like they really complement each other really well. They work so well off each other, right? If you want to double Fennell, that's fine. Archer will be the guy. And also Fennell has enough patience then, or he's not going to be selfish enough to take that shot. He'll pass it off to Archer and vice versa. One thing to note about Fennell, in a lot of these biggest games, right, he somehow finds those winners. So keep an eye out for that. You know that Wes Islip knows that because he stung the overtime. Was it fourth overtime winner against Ward Melville in last year's Woodstick, scores the winner in overtime as well. So if this is a close game, a low-scoring game, Fennell might have that ticket to another championship for Garden City late.
Yeah, be another notch in his belt and what he's been able to do. I mean, when you think about all the best high school lacrosse players over the last few years, you think of seminal moments. Stevie Fennell has a ton in his war chest, and he's looking for a few more today, Dylan.
And one guy we didn't mention, we mentioned him a little bit at the top, though, is his future coaches here, Lars Tiffany at Virginia, Cole Weber, leading the line defensively for the Trojans. He will absolutely make an impact on this game today. For West Islip, let's take a look at those players to watch for those Lions as they get prepped. And on the offensive side, it is Cole Sparks. He indeed actually provided the spark in the Suffolk County Championship. See the numbers, pretty balanced there for Cole Sparks. 26 goals, 43 assists for the senior, bound for Limestone. On the other side of it, he's just a puppy. He's a sophomore, Mickey Faulkner, but he's the guy who draws the other team's best attackmen. So whether that is Fennell, whether that's Archer, Faulkner's long pole will be right there in their grill. He is an outstanding player. One guy who they don't have, who they've lost for the season, it's a big one, is Kevin Sinati, but Faulkner has helped fill that role, and we've seen that all throughout any of these teams, right? It's the next man up mentality. You lose a key guy, you find a way to replace him.
And that's how you find a way to win championships as well. This is a West Islip team that's pretty deep. They can certainly give Garden City a challenge today, but you're right. It runs through Faulkner on that defense, and he's been exceptional, and we saw it against Bayport Blue Point right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. The rest of Suffolk County has seen it, and now he's looking to take his talents against one of the best on Nassau County.
You've got the stars of Garden City, right? And you've got the face-off dominance at West Islip. It should be a lot of fun. Who wins? We're not sure. I think the first team to 7 might win this one here today. Here you take a look at our schedule, and we've already crowned 3 champions, and maybe pressure's on Garden City here because they've all come from Nassau County. Manhasset beating Sherwin-Williams River in our first game, Cold Spring Harbor beating Mattatuck. You see the scores there. Farmingdale, the closest game of the day against Northport, and then it's Garden City and West Islip. We will have our post-game coverage of this one about 10 minutes or so after it wraps up, but it should be a lot of fun.
Should be a lot of fun. It's the best day for lacrosse on Long Island all year. I can't wait for it, but waiting all day to see Garden City and West Islip do battle, and we're just moments away.
So that'll do it for our pregame coverage of this one, and we remind you again on all of our social media handles, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or of course on YouTube, follow our postgame coverage. It is all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.